Alright, here's an example that I've sort of worked off. This one has a sequin here. I'm not doing that on my work. These paillettes here are 15 mil, 16 mil maybe, and they range from 7 to 10 beads between the fabric and the paillette. The distance between each string is like, that's 15 mil, that's centimeter, 15 mil, centimeter. You don't have to be particularly accurate, but quite thick there. Another couple of options that I've got to show you is, this is a hip scarf made in Egypt. It has very large paillettes. These are 25 mil and they're like 1.5 to 2 centimeters apart where it's been stitched in, and they range from about 8 to 10 beads on each string. What you've just got to make sure is that depending on how stretchy your fabric is, you don't want your bead strings to be stretching with your fabric. I'll show you this one. This is on the sleeve of a Baladi dress. This is a little more stretchy. You can see once I stretch it out that the bead strings are getting pretty taut. It's only on a sleeve, so it doesn't matter so much, but if this was a hip scarf, you'd be looking at possibly popping the string there when you tie it on you. These are small paillettes, 15 mil, and they're again about 2 centimeters apart. The beads here are slightly bigger than the beads that I'm using, and this one is a little more open in its look compared to this one that I'm working on, which is very full. It's just, I didn't really think about it, it's just what I did. They're kind of, I think of it as a centimeter, but they're actually more than a centimeter, 15 mil between each one, and these are 20 mil paillettes. Okay, so I'll show you how I go about doing it. Make sure that your needle is small enough to fit through the size beads you're using. I'm using a mix of beads, all different sizes, but they're fairly small. So my needle is also fairly small. I'm using slightly thicker thread than usual, probably equivalent to like a top stitching thread or something. Don't stress about what colour thread you use, you won't see it. You can see it up close, but not when you're performing, not amidst all the bright sequins. So just take a couple of stitches on top of each other to start. I find that this is a bit more of a secure method than tying a knot, because a knot can actually pull through, and then try to scoop up your beads. You can thread them on by hand if you don't have a big container. I'm doing about 8 beads, I'm not counting them, I'm just kind of get used to how much is on the needle. Pop your paillette on and then get about 8 beads again. And then go behind the fabric about your 1.5 centimeters apart, thread it through. Careful it doesn't get tangled in those other ones that you've already done. Pull it tight. And now most of the Egyptian styles don't have this extra stitch, but I like to do that stitch there because it just holds that in place while you're working on doing the next one. So thread the beads on again. Pick up a paillette, put it through and thread more beads. This is a little tricky while looking through the camera. Go to the back, thread it through, pull it tight, do that extra little stitch. And you can see that extra stitch holds it quite secure while you're getting ready for the next one. And you see this is quite stretchy, this fabric, and it is a hip scarf, but they're not going to snap. And I've just gone random colours. So if that's too much, you can just stitch them on like this. I'll just do an edging of them. That's quite a lot of stitches there. You probably don't need that many, but that's an option as well. All right, I hope this is helpful for you. Happy beading.